Hello, this is a continuation of the previous video. I was running out of time. So I wanted to go back a little bit about heuristics. It's a funky term that confuses some people, confused me when I first learned about it, but it's just a mental map that we have, a way that we think, and it's automatic, to help us make decisions quickly. And we use different types of heuristics, and one has to do with thinking that things or people belong to a certain group based on what we know about that group or that thing. And so the other one is availability heuristic, and that one means that we tend to bring to mind certain events or things readily, and we put those in the same category. So it's kind of like what's on the surface, or what we tend to see or think about the most. And so it's kind of like what we come to mind, what just comes to mind, and we sort of put that thing or a person in that category. And the Table 3 one has a good summary of representative and availability heuristics. He talks about counterfactual thinking, and that's a term that's not used a whole lot in sociology or psychology. But I certainly can see where I've done that a lot, imagining outcomes that may have been different if I had done something different. So I think we do that as humans a lot. Illusory correlation, in talking earlier about research concepts, this is where we tend to think that in a correlation that something is relating to something else. When in fact, statisticians have shown that most events occur together by chance. And so an illusory correlation is where we think that two things are related. So, for example, that's where a lot of, what are those things called? You think you walk under a ladder and something bad is going to happen, or step on a crack and break my mother's back, those sorts of things. I can't think of the word for that, but, when something happens and something else happens, and we put those two things together and we think that they're related, but they're not. They're random chance events, and that happens a lot, and people make illusory correlations a lot. So it's amazing. I can hear it in other people. I probably do it, but I don't notice it so much in myself, although I try to be aware of it, but I can certainly hear it in other people. We certainly want to have the illusion of control. Regression toward the average. This is usually called the regression toward the mean. And what that means is that no matter what, most things, most people's, events, he talks a lot about exam scores, but, just about anything tends to come back toward the average or the mean. So, that has to do with just about everything in our world. We have a bell curve in averages and statistics, and most things, people tend to lie on the average of the bell curve, and outliers tend to come back in toward the average. So, we do a lot of things, but most things tend to come back toward the average or toward the mean. Misattributions, he makes a point in the picture on page 99 about that maybe date rape sometimes occurs from people misreading other people's cues. Well, maybe that could be. but that's probably just one factor in it. Attribution theory, very important concept. We think that, or we make an attribution that we can understand someone's behavior by thinking that some aspect of them relates to that behavior. And so we, have we make errors about attributing things to people's behaviors based on other things that we know or think we know. A good point was on page 103, he has a picture of Spock, and he notes that when actors play certain kinds of roles, we tend to think that they are like those roles. And so we make those attribution errors quite a bit regarding actors as well as people that we know and people that we interact with. Self-awareness, definitely an important concept that we're probably going to be more self-aware in classes like social psychology than in general. As you're reading these things, you're going to be thinking, oh my gosh, do I do that? Do other people do that? And so, you're going to be thinking a lot about your own awareness of these concepts, which is great. It's great to be aware of these things and recognizing them when they come up. Self-fulfilling prophecy. That term has been bandied about a lot, and I think there's some, popular misconception of it, or using it in a popular culture. It's not like, oh, I think something bad, so therefore something bad's going to happen, but there's just a tendency that, people will hear something or think something or say something, and they'll tend to kind of want to make their own things come true. And he has a note about the stock market, which is interesting, as well as research on teacher and student behaviors. Sometimes I think, oh, maybe I shouldn't make these videos because then you're going to make, students will make judgments about me, but oh well. Behavioral confirmation, that's another interesting self-fulfilling prophecy, that we sort of help each other behave in a way that we think that they should behave, or we expect them to behave. That has a lot to do with, cultural or racial interactions, where people have an expectation of the other group or person in that group, and so they kind of, act that way. And that also relates to confirmation bias. Finally, he makes an important point on page 115 about educating people to reduce our vulnerability to certain types of errors. And, that's part of what social psychology tries to do, is educate people about the things that we do. So, very interesting first 3 chapters. Hope you get time to digest them in this fast-paced course, but I look forward to reading your discussions on self-concept and self-efficacy. See you in Cyber World.